John Michaels is on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Shop hundreds of Toyotas indoors in one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. John Michaels hosts mornings on 680 The Fan in Atlanta. Atlanta, a team that we thought was going to be coached by Bill Belichick for a couple of weeks, and now we know that's not the case. And we'll get to that. I want to start, though, I guess with the Super Bowl, John. The matchup is San Francisco and Kansas City, and we can talk about yesterday's games here in a sec, and we can talk about coaching changes in a sec. But just that particular Super Bowl matchup, San Francisco and KC, who you got?
I will never, ever in my life again bet against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. So right from there, I'm going to go with Kansas City. Second of all, I can't stand Kyle Shanahan. He's part of the reason that I don't have a Super Bowl ring in a safe somewhere here in the house. If he'd learned to run the damn ball when Julio Jones had caught a long pass up 8 with about 3 minutes to go, the Falcons would have had a Super Bowl. So I got a lot of ire from people around the country because I said I will never root for Kyle Shanahan. Oh, you got to let that go. No. There's certain things in life you never let go of. Kyle Shanahan not running the ball is one of them. Terry Porter, that butt clown that called a pass interference against the Miami Hurricanes after we had won our 6th national championship. I'll never get over either one of those ever a day in my life.
And John, speaking of running the ball, did Todd Monken do that? The same thing you're talking about, Kyle Shanahan with the Falcons, because yesterday the Ravens were the number 1 rushing team in the league, and now they sit Lamar Jackson in the pocket 467 times in a row. They never run the ball. They never have design runs for the quarterback. They don't have design runs for any damn body. Gus Edwards gets stopped by a safety on one run, and they don't run the ball again in their life. Is that on Monken or Lamar?
Yeah, damn right it's on Monken. I went off on him. This is a guy that I thought was going to get some head coaching looks for how well he did with Lamar Jackson and with Baltimore's offense. They ran for 156 yards a game. Gus Edwards and Justice Hill combined for 6 more runs than the 3 of us combined for yesterday. How do you go into a game and go away from your strength? You know, they had a 3rd and 1 driving the ball, and they have Lamar run a deep pass, and he ends up getting sacked for about a 4-yard loss because he ran around and Kansas City had coverage. It was one of the biggest mishaps I've seen coaching in a long time. They just went away from who they are. Run the ball, run some zone read stuff, make Kansas City defend what you're best at. I thought all yesterday Baltimore just really lost their ever-loving mind, from offensive coordinator not running the football, stupid penalties. Zay Flowers, what the hell are you doing throwing the ball off somebody's back? How about have some ball protection, pause, down by the goal line when you do certain things there? Oh, my goodness, it was terrible for the Ravens, and now we're going to have to see Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce kissing at halftime and after the game, and I don't need to see any more of that.
I love the Taylor Swift angle on the game. I was a little confused by Zay Flowers, and when you talk about quizzical coaching decisions, i.e. the running the ball 6 times only with Baltimore, you have to ask, in the other game, did Dan Campbell make bad decisions, or did he make bad decisions but stayed true to himself? So you can't really label them bad decisions.
Yeah, they're bad decisions, Hawk. Look, I don't mind being true to yourself. Sometimes I'm true to myself at a fault, and it might be why I'm still doing local radio 25 years later and, maybe not with a higher profile job. There are certain times, though, you cannot play football like you're playing Madden at home against your 3-year-old. You just cannot do it. I did not have a problem with the play in the 3rd quarter up 24-10. Josh Reynolds, put some stickum, put some super glue on your hands. That's a guy that can never grow across 8 Mile ever again in his life for the drop passes he had. That point, you're up 24-10, 7 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and you're trying to bury San Francisco. Don't have a problem with that. The one where I got to check if Dan Campbell's got a chemical imbalance is down 3 with 7 minutes to go, and you got a 48-yarder with Michael Badgley for a chance to tie a game in a game where everything had gone wrong against you in the second half. That's where somebody, and I said this on our show this morning, this is where you need to punch him in the man parts coach that walks over and punches a coach in the man parts and says, what the hell are you thinking? Kick the field goal, tie the game. Even if San Francisco goes down and score, you get a chance to have the ball back and then equally tie it one more time. I get it. Dan Campbell took a lot of blame today. I like the fact that he's a guy that did openly say, hey, you know what? This is what we've done all year long. I am going to regret it a little bit, but this is who we've been. There are times, though, you can't just continue to be who you are. And for a franchise that's never once made it to the Super Bowl, I know there were a lot of Lions fans out there last night. We'll be right back. Take it from a Falcons fan. No, you won't. Sometimes you get once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and you need to take advantage of those when they present themselves to you.
And John, this is my take because it's happened. The Dan Campbell stuff, I think, was bad coaching decisions, but I think he made bad coaching decisions in the Dallas game. I think he made, honestly, bad coaching decisions all season, and a lot of them end up working. The Ravens not running the ball. Kyle Shanahan in the Super Bowl against the Patriots just continuing to pass, but y'all were a passing team that year. Kind of the thought of dance with your date. You asked her to prom. Y'all coordinated y'all's dress code. You got her a corsage. Now you got to dance with her when the slow songs come. Like whatever got you the way you are, just keep doing it because you wouldn't be there if you did not do that through the regular season.
You're right, and trust me, Crowder, a lot of Falcon fans were on me today going, without Kyle Shanahan, you're not in the Super Bowl. You're 100% right. Matt Ryan that year turns into an MVP. He had always been an above-average, borderline Hall of Fame quarterback with Kyle Shanahan. He turns into an elite, once-in-a-lifetime type season. Again, though, you can dance with her at the dance. The problem is they turned into, what was the character on Can't Buy Me Love, who instead of watching Soul Train was watching the African anteater dance, and you turn into a clown at that point, and that's exactly what ended up happening yesterday. Dan Campbell, it was super fun all year long, and you're right. The Dallas game, he gacked, completely blew that, and instead of them being the 2 seed, they fell to the 3. There were times yesterday that you just have to remember that football is a game that is going to reward you for smart plays time after time. And I get it. You gambled and you played by the seat of your pants all season long. You had the momentum snatched from you because your coach could not figure out how to do things the right way. And then they had some bad misfortune. 2 terrible drops, one on 4th, one on 3rd. You had an interception that ricochets off your defensive back's face mask. Brandon Ayuk dives in and catches the ball. I mean, everything that could go wrong. Jameer Gibbs on the very next carry fumbles the football. I mean, they had everything that could go wrong. I felt bad for the Lions. I wanted to see Detroit go there just to see the utter insanity that was going to ensue in Detroit if they somehow were able to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was rooting for them. By the way, Can't Buy Me Love, great 80s movie. If you haven't seen it, Very underrated 80s movie. John Michaels is
I was going to say the remake is not bad only because Christina Milian's in a bikini. Nick Cannon carries it. Steve Harvey's in there as kind of the funny father. I forgot. I think it's called Love Don't Cost a Thing. They did sort of their own spin-off in the early 2000s. Not as good, but it's not bad.
It was Patrick Dempsey in the original, wasn't it?
Yep. And
yeah, it was
Cindy
Patrick Dempsey.
The actress, unfortunately, she unfortunately no longer with us. She
Amanda
passed away
Peterson.
At like 39 or
Amanda
40 years old.
Peterson was Cindy Mancini. Yeah, she died.
Condolences to her.
Thank you, Solana. Anyway, great movie from the late 80s. John Michaels does mornings at 680 The Fan. Atlanta used to be the Falcons sideline reporter. So were you as shocked as everyone when Bill Belichick did not get the head coaching job?
Yes and no. I was more shocked that Raheem Morris got the job. We had talked about Coach Morris. Cursory glance, good interview, had been in the building, no chance. Oh, my God, we just hired this guy. After reading a lot of the stuff with Bill Belichick and kind of reading between the lines the last week before the job came down, I know I'd been on with you guys. I thought he was going to be the head coach by the end of the weekend, and he wasn't. It came down to a front office power struggle Bill Belichick, from everything I've read, wanted to come in and do everything his way, meaning gutting everybody that was in there. He was going to be first in command. He wanted personnel decisions. He was going to bring Josh McDaniels and probably Matt Patricia, maybe Eric Mangini and Charlie Weiss and Romeo Crennel and all of those other guys that have been part of the Patriots Super Bowl run. And I don't think Arthur Blank wanted to lose people that were really close to him inside that front office, and they decided to go another direction. Quite frankly, I'm happy when all of that plays out that that's not the scenario. I wouldn't have minded Bill Belichick the head coach. I didn't want Bill Belichick the personnel guy. I didn't want Bill Belichick with all his lackeys and toadies, and I damn sure didn't want Josh McDaniels in here where 3 years from now Bill Belichick might have been trying to shove him down our throat as a new head coach. So good riddance. Go wherever the hell y'all are going to go. Stay the heck away from Atlanta.
And John, speaking of the coaching, man, and I'm not even a huge Harbaugh fan, but I'm a resume guy. Harbaugh goes to San Fran, takes him to the Super Bowl. He goes to Michigan. He was in the national championship. Now he's in L.A., the L.A. Chargers with Justin Herbert, who's a hell of a quarterback himself. Was that the best hire? Because Harbaugh, I think the Harbaughs are amazing coaches.
100%, Channing. He was number one on my list here. I wanted Jim Harbaugh. And Harbaugh's a guy, you know, everything you just said was spot on. Heck, you could go back, won 12 games at Stanford. He won like 30 out of 35 games at the University of San Diego. This guy just knows how to win when it comes to coaching. The big knock on him at Michigan is he kept not winning the biggest game. He had finally gotten over the Ohio State bugaboo a few years ago, and now they dominated the Buckeyes, and it couldn't happen to a nicer group in that trash that is Columbus, Ohio. Then you kept losing in the playoffs. Well, guess what? You finally got over that hump, and you won. And I'm going to tell you, the Chargers were a bad coach away from being a playoff team a year ago. Brandon Staley, how many games did he just blow with stupid time decisions, not knowing when and when not to go for it on third and fourth down? Justin Herbert's a talent. Keenan Allen still could play at a high level. You drafted Quentin Johnson. You've got Austin Eckler. You've got the other Bosa. You've got Khalil Mack. You've got Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr. They've got talent. They just need a coach that's going to come in there and put that all together. I wouldn't be shocked, and I don't know what the betting odds are as of yet, early for next year, is that the LA Chargers make the playoffs in year one under Jim Harbaugh. And I wouldn't be shocked that within 5 years, Jim Harbaugh has that team playing for and winning a Super Bowl. He's that good of a coach. He's a strange cat. He's going to have some weird looking khakis. He might have some shirtless practices, but the guy knows how to coach football. They hit an absolute home run with that coaching hire.
I ask you one more coaching question before we run out of time here. Vic Fangio, one and done with the Miami Dolphins. What do you think of his 1 year tenure? And is this a huge loss or meh? It's all right.
Yeah, I think it's a meh, whatever loss. With the talent they had when healthy, I never thought they were a truly dominant defense. I thought they were pretty passive a lot of times. You know, when you've got corners like that could lock down, why are you not sending pressure like crazy? I know Josh Boyer a couple of years ago maybe sent too much pressure. He was blitzing from the time you walked off the bus, and it didn't always work out. Fangio, to me, always felt kind of passive. Yeah, great, you shut down the Jets. Palm Beach Lakes High School can shut down the Jets. So that's not some real accomplishment. Every time they played against a good offense, healthy or not, they got ran up and down the field. There's a reason their only win against 6 winning teams throughout the regular season and playoffs was against the Dallas Cowboys, because the Cowboys are equally choky like the Miami Dolphins. I think you go find somebody younger, somebody more, aggressive, and play to the strengths of your football team. I liked Javon Holland's Instagram or whatever, where he was kicking rocks when it was announced that Vic Fangio was let go. That lets you know how players felt about Fangio. Go to Philadelphia. You'll fit in just fine there. They're very patient in Philly. I'm sure they'll love you up there.
What's the better 80s movie, Can't Buy Me Love or just One of the Guys?
Oh, Can't Buy Me Love. Can't Buy Me Love is one of my 5 favorite 80s movies. I think one of the only ones that passes it for me is Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh,
Can't Buy Me Love is one of those classic love stories. The fact that you have Gerardo, the rapper, playing Ricky, the baseball player, Big John's character that kept farting on everybody is one of the funniest people ever. And the fact that he was riding around in a tic-tac-tile car and was actually hooking up with the hotties from high school, you got to love it. Can't Buy Me Love's one of the greats.
I'm with you. That's a great call by you. Great punctuation. And, of course, Fast Times. I mean, one of the all-time classics.
You give it a nickname like everybody just knows it.
Everyone knows Fast Times. You don't have to say Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Everybody knows Fast Times.
My second date with my wife, she came to my house after we had gone to dinner. So there was no Netflix and chill. I literally popped in the DVD of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Mind you, my wife is 10 years younger than me. She looked at me. She wasn't even born when that movie came out. She goes, "What is this?" I said, "Are you kidding me? You must watch this." We made it through about 20 minutes of the movie, and she was like, "Enough is enough." She goes, "I need something a little more modern." She has watched it since then. That's part of the reason I married her. She let me put on Fast Times on our second date ever.
Yeah, you got to get to the dugout scene. I know what you're doing there. I know
what he was doing. He was trying to get that movie off anyway.
John Michaels,
That's not what I was trying to get off.
In Atlanta. Follow him on Twitter at John Michaels U. Thank you, John.
All right, guys.
We'll take a break. Come back with more Hochman and Crowder.